Good evening and a very warm welcome to Hope TV News Watch on this 11th November 2021. My name is Grace Wangui and our sign language interpreter tonight is Boniface Murithi. Let's begin with the highlights. ODM party leader Raila Odinga has distanced himself and the entire ODM fraternity from the chaos that erupted during Deputy President William Ruto's tour of Kondele in Kisumu on Wednesday, even as DP's allies call for immediate investigations. This as Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka has condemned the violence witnessed in Kondele, Kisumu County on Wednesday during Deputy President William Ruto's tour, calling for political tolerance. And preparations are in top gear for the upcoming devolution conference that will be held from 23rd to 26th November in Makueni County, even as governors insist that all conference participants must be fully vaccinated. Meanwhile, the Embu High Court has sentenced a 26-year-old to 30 years in prison for killing a priest in 2019 after the suspect admitted to committing the crime. Now, Kenya is set to be the first country in the world to host a summit on climate change after the Glasgow conference, the 7th and final annual devolution conference scheduled to take place at Makueni Boys High School in Makueni County from 23rd to the 26th of November 2021. As Kennedy Kimani now reports, President Uhuru Kenyatta will be the chief guest of the conference, which will focus mainly on multi-level governance for climate change, with more than 3,000 delegates expected to attend the summit.
All roads will lead to Makueni as we welcome the whole of Kenya, all the stakeholders in the climate action space to come and make conversation about what we are doing as a country to combat the climate crisis.
After being postponed twice due to the presidential directive on the ban of political and large social gatherings, the 7th Devolution Conference, which will also mark the end of the first dispensation of the annual Devolution Conference, is set to take place at Makueni Boys High School in Makueni County from the 23rd to 26th November. The last 6 conferences are focused on various issues, with a key focus on devolution journey, but the 7th Annual Devolution Conference will focus on climate action, in particular the impact and the role of subnational governments in climate action.
This particular conference is a conference that is coming out on the heels of the Glasgow conference. You do know that our president himself has pronounced himself on the decarbonization program that was discussed in Glasgow. You do know that he has also indicated the full support and transition to clean energy by 2030 as a country. And those are some of the things that we are going to discuss in Makueni.
The objectives of the conference include, among other things, to enable county governments to demonstrate bold economic leadership, to deliberate on the impact of climate change mitigation measures, as well as mobilize 2 million trees to be planted in the host county before and during the conference.
The conference shall adopt a dialogue approach through panel discussions, followed by plenary engagements, which will consist of 5 sessions in the main plenum and 14 sector breakaway session.
We have already confirmed that all the major people we have invited to participate in Makueni will be there. All the principals will be in Makueni, and we are happy that finally we have overcome all the hiccups which have been facing us, and we are definitely confirming that the 7th and final Devolution Conference will take place in Wote, Makueni.
President Uhuru Kenyatta will be the chief guest of the Devolution Conference, with more than 3,000 delegates expected to attend the summit. Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch, Nairobi.
Thank you, Kennedy, for that report. Now let's move to this story where a 26-year-old has been sentenced to 30 years in prison by the Embu High Court after admitting to hacking to death a Catholic priest 2 years ago. Michael Mutheni was convicted and sentenced on his own plea of guilt by Judge Lucy Njuguna on Thursday for the murder of Father Michael Kiengo on the night of October 8th and 9th, 2019 within Makima area. While delivering the judgment, Judge Njuguna took issue with the conduct of the accused, who after committing the offense is alleged to have withdrawn over 400,000 from the deceased M-Pesa and bank accounts in a span of 3 days, as well as took possession of his vehicle and converted it into personal use. The deceased family members and colleagues expressed satisfaction with the ruling, saying justice had been served. Though they were yet to come to terms with the loss of a man they regarded as diligent and dependable.
I find that the circumstances under which this offense was committed calls for a severe and deterrent sentence. I sentence the first accused person to serve 30 years in prison, and in sentencing the 30 years, I've already taken into account the time that he has spent in custody when before he was released on board and when we cancelled his board after he absconded.
We cannot oppose what the judge has given us, but the challenge that we are also finding about the judgment was she has clearly indicated that the accused used false words against our priest, saying that he had a reason or the why he killed him. We've known the priest. He has been an integrated person. We have known him where he was working, and we would appreciate that the judge did not go by the lie or the words which were used much later after he had submitted that he is the one who killed father.
Getting a line of defense which ridicules a man of God, it is very unfair. You ridicule a man of God who is dead. Dead people don't answer, don't defend themselves. So lawyers at times, if you are picking on a line of defense, don't ridicule men of God.
Let's now switch gears and move to the political scene, where ODM party leader Raila Odinga has distanced himself and the entire ODM fraternity from the chaos that erupted during Deputy President William Ruto's tour of Kondele in Kisumu yesterday. Odinga says it is Ruto who provoked the youth in his remarks during a roadside rally, and he should therefore not blame anyone. And as Dickens Luvanda now reports, DP Ruto, who has completed his 3-day tour of the larger Nyanza region, linked the ODM leader to the violence, with his allies calling for immediate investigations.
The ODM party leader Raila Odinga has responded to claims by Deputy President William Ruto and his allies that he was the one behind the violence and stone-hurling incident in Kisumu's Kondele area. Ruto's convoy was stormed by angry youths in Kondele on Wednesday, forcing him to cut short his rally and fly to Migori County, with the police using tear gas canisters to calm the situation. The DP accused Odinga of orchestrating the incident, saying it is shameful for politicians to use violence in politics, with the National Police Service in a statement clarifying that based on intelligence, the DP has been warned against visiting Kondele.
Ruto anazuru tu kwa kufanya kampeni miaka 4 mfululizo, kila wiki, kila siku anaruka kutoka hapa na pale akipinga serikali ambaye yeye ni naibu wake. Anakula mshahara wa watu, anazuru na petroli na magari ya serikali.
Odinga, while speaking during an interview with a local vernacular radio station, responded to Ruto, saying he provoked the youth in his remarks during a roadside rally in Kondele, prompting the violence.
Wale wengine wanasema hii, wanasema hii, wengine wanasema ati kulikuwa na pesa ambayo ilitolewa, na hiyo pesa ndio ikaleta vurugu. Vijana wakangangania, wengine walipata, wengine hawakupata. Mimi sina haja. Mimi si mtoto mdogo ya kwenda kuorganize watu kwa Russia Ruto mawe. Kwa sababu gani? Bwana Ruto ni kitu kidogo sana kwangu. Anaweza kutembea kila mahali. Vile anavyotangatanga kila mahali, anapiga na bweka hapa na pale. Hiyo haki yake ya kibinadamu. Apiga kifua yake akohoe, ateme mate. Hiyo ni sawa kabisa. Hiyo ndio demokrasia katika taifa letu.
DP Ruto has since completed his 3-day tour of Kisumu, Migori and Homa Bay counties by addressing a roadside rally in Homa Bay town.
Si nyinyi ndio kusema, si nyinyi ndio kuamua, kuna mtu atawalazimisha.
Deacon Sulvanda, Hope TV News.
Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka has condemned the violence witnessed on Wednesday in Kisumu County during Deputy President William Ruto tour. Kalonzo says political tolerance must be exercised by all leaders and that Kenyans must be allowed to express their ideas and positions in every part of the country. The Wiper leader now says he has allowed all political leaders, including Ruto and Raila, to visit his backyard and sell their ideas, challenging other leaders to have the same tolerance. Kalonzo made the remarks while addressing citizens in Karaba, Makima and Kiriti markets in Bere South constituency today. Later, the Wiper leader addressed the County Assembly of Embu, where he outlined his agenda for the country, including building a 24-hour economy.
Yale maneno ilitokea Kisumu jana, mimi mwenyewe ninayapinga na siyakubali. Kwa sababu Ruto alienda kule akapigwa mawe. Mimi nasema kiongozi yoyote aende mahala popote aombe kura kwa amani. Wangapi wanakubaliana na mimi? Kesho Raila anaenda Makueni. Kesho anaenda Makueni bila Kalonzo, ambaye amesimama na yeye miaka 10. Na nasema watu wa Makueni wamkaribishe Raila Odinga. Asitupe maneno. Juzi Ruto alikuwa mwingi. Ruto alikuwa mwingi, akapeana wheelbarrow zake, akapeana inuka mama sijui mama juu chini, akapeana akaongea mambo yake. Leo hapa watu wa Kiritiri na watu wa Mbere na watu wa Embu, nataka mjue mimi ni mmoja wenu bila hata kusita. Kumbukeni Eastern Province kutoka Marsabit, Isiolo, Meru, Tharaka Nithi, Embu hii, Machakos, Kitui na Makueni.
To our last political story of the day, Mount Kenya Foundation members have on Thursday met leaders from Northern Kenya grouped under Upya movement who are working with other like-minded leaders to put the country together under the Azimio la Umoja banner. The leaders have said they are determined to make and ensure peaceful transitions in the country ahead of the 2022 general elections. Last month, the Mount Kenya Foundation hosted the One Kenya Alliance Principles for luncheon in Nairobi. Dolly Mirigi reports.
In another strategic move to strengthen ties between Central Kenya and their counterpart in Mount Kenya North, Northern Kenya, grouped under Upya movement, the Mount Kenya Foundation has joined hands with Upya movement to chart their 2022 path. This is the third time in a row that Mount Kenya Foundation has hosted a political outfit after hosting the ODM leader Raila Odinga and One Kenya Alliance leadership in October this year. Mount Kenya Foundation Chairman Peter Munga, who spoke in Nairobi, explained why it is important for everyone to be a pillar of unity for the growth of a strong nation.
We need, therefore, to demonstrate that we, in pursuance of what His Excellency the President Uhuru Kenyatta says, that he would like to leave this country as a united nation, as a united country. And we have got to start by showing by example that these counties that I've just named have that united concept of what they need to do in this country. So we are doing nothing else than to show the rest of Kenya that we have a united communities around the Mount Kenya.
The MKF, majorly made up of the country's top producers and drivers of the Kenyan economy, have a lot of stakes in the coming elections. They hope that through unity in a post-2022, Kenya will be peaceful and stable for both businesses and economic growth.
We need to put aside perceived differences, because in reality I know there are no differences.
Sometimes they are manufactured by people who do not want others to progress. And engage freely and honestly to build a level of partnership and trust among each other that will enable collectively enable us to speak collectively with one voice, articulate a coherent position on economic and political matters.
In Parliament, whenever we have required numbers, you have been there for us. You have stood with our president, and we assure you, and we say, asanteni sana sana sana. It is not something we take for granted, and we assure you we will remember this even in coming days. Should you ever come to us, we will remember to return that favor that you have done for our president, and just to make sure that our country stays stable and continues to progress.
The meeting further defined a healthy moment for the region to network and build more partnership as we remain focused on aligning the region to the trajectory of socio-economic development and transformation.
We are here as UPIA and friends. You have also invited us as Mount Kenya. There are certain things that we have in common. Some are national, some are regional, and some are purely interest-driven. But all these can be brought together for the benefit of the people of the Asal region, for the people of Mount Kenya, and for the benefit of the people of Kenya as a group. And this is why today, proudly, I stand before you here and being part of that process. Part of that process that is going to unite Kenya.
The 22 counties out of the 47 counties from Mount Kenya and Northeastern have vowed to work together ahead of 2022 to ensure the interests of both regions are addressed, with peace emphasized as the main objective, having witnessed political violence in the previous general elections.
And if we as a wide region in this country, we agree to unite, to keep peace, and to ensure that we engage the other part of the country in a manner which is peacemaking, a manner which is also bringing them into this unity. I think that will be very important.
We are in the process of making history. This country is in a transition. This country, there's going to be peaceful handover of power. We've had one of the greatest presidents that has ever transited in this country.
Dolly Mirigi, Hope TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Dolly, for that report. Now, even as Kenya joins the world in marking the World Pneumonia Day, children under the age of 5 are the highest risk, as data show that a child below the age of 5 dies of the disease every hour. While marking the celebrations of the World Pneumonia Day and World Prematurity Day, the Director of Preventive and Promotive Health Services, Dr. Andrew Mulwa, called on Kenyans to not let the guard down, even though mortalities have decreased. Mothers have also been encouraged to frequent medical facilities for checkups to ensure early detection and prevention of deaths.
The Ministry of Health has been commemorating the World Pneumonia Day since 2009 and World Prematurity across the country since 2014, respectively. The 2 days are key in health calendar as they act as an advocate tool for fighting the leading causes of under 5 and neonatal mortality, which remains a key issue of public health concern in our country. According to the KDHS, under 5 mortality has improved over the last decade from 111 per 1,000 live births in 1998 to 52 in 2014. This is attributed to interventions put in place towards improvement of under 5 mortality. Neonatal mortality has had a slower decline over the time, with KDHS showing slow reduction during the same period from 28 deaths per 1,000 live births in 1998 to 22 in 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, the World Pneumonia Day reminds us of the efforts the government has put in place to address pneumonia, which is a leading killer in under 5, contributing to death of around 9,000 under 5s. in 2018. This, as has been rightly translated, means death of a child every hour.
Now, the Public Service Commission, PSC, has accused the Directorate of Public Prosecution, DPP Nordin Haji, of using the court to interfere with its constitutional mandate, responding to orders sought by lawyer Nelson Harvey, stopping the PSC from considering petitions stopping his ouster. PSC now says the court has no jurisdiction to rule in favor of Haji, as it is an interference with how the commission works. In an affidavit signed by the PSC CEO Simon Rotich, PSC says in part, and I quote, "What the DPP is asking this court to do would amount to an unconstitutional order barring PSC from undertaking a constitutional mandate and barring Kenyans from exercising their right to seek justice in the event they feel the DPP has abused his powers or violated their rights," end of quote. Let's now take our first commercial break. We'll be back with more stories. Keep it Hope TV.
Join us every Sunday for unlimited, uplifting, powerful worship, only on Extended Worship.
Dad! Gari mpya! Umetoa wapi gari mpya?
Optiven wametusort.
Optiven?
Nunua any of our value-added properties ama redeem installment ya property yako. Kwa kila malipo ya 10,000 unapata 1 entry point kwenye draw ya Furahia na Optiven promotion. Airtime kushindaniwa kila siku, holiday kila wiki, shinda ploti na gari kila mwezi, na grand prize ya Mercedes-Benz C180. Ni rahisi, buy ama redeem na ushinde na Furahia na Optiven.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, in line with Education CS, Professor George Magoha and Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i's plea that county commissioners hit the ground running with the awarding of tenders to local contractors for the speedy construction of CBC classrooms, Kisii County Commissioner Alan Machari has asked that only contractors within the 11 sub-counties of Kisii County should apply for the tender. Machari, who addressed the press, further said that the contractors should be ready to complete the construction of 424 classrooms for CBC learning in 272 schools by April 2022. The project is said to cost 334.1 million shillings.
Tungependa yule mtu ambaye atachukua hiyo contract ya kufanya kazi ya kujenga hizi madarasa awe ni mwananchi wa ile mahali ambapo shule iko. Pia ile materials ambaye tutatumia kujenga hizi madarasa pia tungependa itoke kwa the same locality ambaye hii mashule yetu yako. Na pia wale wafanyikazi ambaye wataajiriwa kwa minajili ya kujenga haya madarasa pia tungependa tuchukue kutoka kwa hiyo area ambaye hiyo shule inatoka. Na kwa kufanikisha jambo hilo tunafanya registration ya all the local contractors katika hii maeneo ya mashule ambaye hii registration tunafanya katika sub counties zetu zote 11.
Central Regional Commissioner Wilfred Nyagwanga has assured residents of Nyandarua, Murang'a, Kiambu and Nyeri counties at the 68 kilometers Mau, Kanyona, Jambini Road will be completed in schedule despite numerous challenges. Speaking when he led a team of stakeholders in touring the road that snakes through the thick Aberdare forest, the commissioner noted that the project will ease transportation between the 4 counties and honor those who fought for the country's independence. The road, scheduled to be completed in a year's time, had lagged after the Kenya Forest Service, KFS, protested the haphazard clearing of the indigenous forest by the contractor procured by the Kenyan National Highways Authority, KENHA.
This is a technical team ambaye naangalia hii mradi because sisi ndio tunaangalia miradi ya serikali katika region na counties. Tulikuwa nataka kuangalia bila hii mradi inaendelea, lakini nataka kuhakikishia wananchi katika Central Region, especially ile watu wanahusika na hii mradi, Nyandarua, Murang'a, Nyeri and the parts of Kiambu. Hii mradi inaendelea vizuri, itamalizika vile nataikana ili wananchi wapate manufaa kutoka hii mradi.
Action from Katakaini to Jambini, which is the main artery of the road, is 26 kilometers. We've completed 17 kilometers of earthworks, and we're hoping that by the end of the year we will have some bit of tarmac. On the other side of the Murang'a side, we have other roads from Kangari to Kenyona, where we've already started tarmacking. Therefore, other than those challenges that I said, one of them is intergovernmental. The other one is to do with the high rainfall of this place. We receive rains virtually throughout the months of the year. So that has been a hindrance to progress, but the contractor has been making good effort.
Let's now move to this story where the burial of 3 out of 4 family members who perished in a road accident last week in Limuru failed to take place after a keen move to court seeking orders to stop the burial over land tussle. Hananjeri moved to court seeking orders restraining the burial of her stepson William Kamau, his wife Jane Joki, and their daughter Evelyn Waithera. Tension was high at the home of the 3 after the graves the 3 were to be laid in were filled back at night. For the second time, a group of young men came in to dig the grave again, but they were ordered to leave by police officers who claimed to be executing the court order. The family, which vowed to carry on with the funeral, proceeded to collect the bodies at Montezuma Funeral Home in Kabati and held a mass at St. John's Gakukwe in SK Church, Gaturi, Murang'a, after which the bodies were taken back to the morgue.
Mom, it's hard to believe that you're gone, but in our minds, you shall live forever, because there will never be another one like you. That special smile, that caring heart, that warm embrace you always gave us. The way your grandchildren always, in laughter at your place, enjoyed githeri. They would normally sneer at our homes.
Kwa nyanya yangu kuna madhishi. Madhishi yenyewe imepeanwa court order. Lakini court order yenyewe tukienda kwa chief alisema hayuko kazi kwa wiki moja. Lakini bado tunamwona anakuja huko. Akasema court order ni karatasi. Sasa tunajiuliza court order kwani serikali wanapeanaga court order gani? Juu hakuna mtu wako kwa hii side ya mwenye ananyang'anywa shamba. Juu wengine wanatumia pesa, lakini sisi tumetumia sheria, lakini sheria yenyewe hatuoni kifuatwa. Juu saa hii wameleta watu wamejipanga huku nje mpaka na mapanga. Wanasema hii madhishi watafanya kutumia nguvu mpaka watu walaze hapa. Lakini ni makosa juu huyu mtu ako na shamba yake. Na sasa kwa hii shamba ya nyanya yangu iliachwa na ikaachwa mtoto wake mwenye alifariki. Sasa wananyang'anya mama mwenye ana bwana shamba. Sasa tunajulisha haki ya mtu kaa huyo inafaitiwa na nani?
Niko kwa shamba ya shosho na shosho ako hai na anaongea, hakuna kitu ajui kenye kinaendelea, na hakuna mtu wako amepewa shamba yake mahali anafaa kulinda mahali kwake. So nilikuwa nasema kama wangekubali mtu waende kwa shamba yao, hii ni shamba ya shosho na iko na wenyewe. Sasa hatuwezi kubali mazishi endelee juu ni shamba ya shosho.
Now, residents of Nkararo, Transmara West Sub-County can now breathe a sigh of relief after the installation of a new water project. The water, which was installed by a non-governmental organization dubbed Water to School, will not only serve learners but also be used by 4,000 members of the cosmopolitan land. The residents who previously had to trek for tens of kilometers in search of the basic commodity could not hide their joy for the provision of clean water. The residents will now have to pay subsidized water prices for the maintenance of the project.
Mradi huu ulikuanga awali umeanza 1978 na wakoloni, lakini ukakuja ukacollapse. Sasa through Water to School tukakuja tukapata hao wafadhili na wakatusaidia sana, tukaleta mradi huu hapa. Tukakuja tukajenga tangi, tukaleta mifereji na maji kafikia wananchi katika area hii. Katika center hii ya Nkararo ambapo imezungukwa na shule takriban karibu 4 ama 5, hospitali pia iko pale na yote imeweza kusaidika na maji haya.
Water to School imetusaidia hapa, hivyo wametupea maji. Siku hizi hata 20 mtoni. Tumesaidika sana, asanteni sana.
The school mean has also improved tremendously because the children are not wasting any more time outside trying to fetch this water. Therefore, we would really wish to thank Water to Schools. Thank them sincerely. You've seen how thirsty our children were. They run, they take a very short time, they come back to class. During the COVID pandemic, we did not have a lot of problem because we had enough water for washing in the school.
Ninafurahi wakati mmetuletea maji hapa hivi. Wakati walikuwa ni vita kali, tulikuwa tunahangaika na maji sana, tulikuwa tunakunywa maji ya mapunda yenye imekunywa. Tumefurahia wakati mmetuletea maji hivi karibuni, tunashukuru sana.
Leo tunafurahia maji imefika mlango yetu karibu, tunachota. Tunarudishia asante sana.
Taita Taveta County has initiated a plan to construct water tanks in highlands, a way of dealing with the effects of climate change, which continues to affect the county. Speaking during the handing over ceremony of the project to the contractor Bomas Africa Limited for the construction of 5 tanks, Agriculture CEC for Taita Taveta County, Davis Mwangoma, blamed inadequate rainfall to the drying up of water catchment areas in the county. The project, a joint venture between the county and the Kenya Climate Smart, is expected to cost an estimated 4 million and will serve about 1,000 households.
Nasikia kufurahia sana kwa ajili ya huu mradi. Maana mimi pale ninakaa kuna shida ya maji. Nikitaka maji nanunua mtungi 5 shilingi 150. Sasa hiyo gharama nimefurahia leo kwa sababu nimesikia kuna maji yanakuja na huu mradi nimefurahia. Maana najua hii gharama ya 150 per day nitanunua sukari yangu.
Tunaamini kwetu hapa kutabadilisha kwa njia moja au nyingine maisha ya watu hapa ya ubunifu. Na hilo ndilo lengo letu kama wana kilimo, kuhakikisha kwamba tunapigana na adui njaa. Na adui njaa sana sana, kama tutawekeza kwa mambo ya maji, tutakuwa tunafaulu.
Huu mradi uta benefit wananchi, families za Nyache 350. Kwa hivyo half ya Nyache iko na mradi tayari ambayo itakuwa ina benefit. Watu ambao watakuwa na kunywa maji hii direct benefits ni 2,001 kwa Nyache yote ambao watakuwa na kunywa hii maji na kutumia kwa irrigation.
The government is scaling up relief food distribution to vulnerable people in 23 counties amid the ravaging drought. Government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna says the relief food distribution program is meant to avert emergency food situation in worst affected areas of the country as drought deepens. He said the government is on top of the drought situation and making all arrangements to avert humanitarian disaster. The government on September this year declared the ongoing drought affecting 23 counties a national disaster to avert looming humanitarian crisis after a poor raining season. Oguna spoke in Sila, Loni and Chanzao areas of Kinango sub-county of Kwale, where he supervised the distribution of 1,200 bags of rice and 2,000 bags of beans to vulnerable households affected by the drought.
Ukame ambao umekikiri katika sehemu hii
zaidi ya tuseme kama miezi 8 hivi tangu shida zianze. Tuko na shida ya chakula hakuna, pesa zimetupotea, pia mifugo yetu imeenda. Tulikuwa na mifugo kama inapata kama 100 na saizi zimeenda mpaka zimebakia hizi ambazo wasifika hata 30.
Hakuna chakula. Watoto wetu pia nao wakitoka shuleni wakifika manyumbani chakula hatuna. Sijui tuwape nini. Maji nayo ndio ni shida. Tukipata maji sahihi mara maji yamekatika, hatupati maji.
Serikali inaangalia nchi nzima na imetoa shilingi bilioni 1.2 kwa kuweza kununua chakula ya kuweza kusambaza kwa kaunti zote ambazo ziko na tatizo la upungufu wa chakula. Sikiliza, nasema upungufu, wala sijasema ukosefu wa chakula. Nimesema upungufu wa chakula. Kuna tofauti hapo. Kwa hivyo kile chakula ambacho serikali inatoa ni kuongezea tu, wala sio kupeana kiasi cha kwamba hakuna chakula kabisa. Wala unapoenda hapa Kilaloni utapata chakula kipo, labda hela ndio haipo. Kwa hivyo chakula ni kwamba imepungua tu kutoka kwa wananchi wengi kwa sababu ya kukosekana kwa mvua kwa kipindi kirefu.
Ukame vile unaendelea kuzidi, tunajua idadi hiyo pia itazidi. Kwa hivyo ndio maana imekuwa ni muhimu tuweze kuja hapa nyanjani, tujionee, tusikize wananchi, kisha mbali na yale ambayo tunayafanya hapa, mipango mahususi na zaidi iweze kupangiliwa na serikali ya kitaifa pamoja na washirika wengine, washikadau, kuweza kuwasaidia wananchi.
Pastoralists in Garissa County can now rest easy after the government, through the Northern Waterworks Development Agency (NWWDA), started distributing fuel subsidies to all boreholes in the region to help communities who have lost their livestock and livelihood access uninterrupted water supply. Speaking while flagging off 26,800 litres of diesel to borehole generators in Garissa County, the agency's board chairman Shaban Ali Isaac said that the exercise is part of the government's effort to cushion communities from the ongoing drought. The exercise will cost about 100 million shillings in all the 6 counties of Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, Samburu, Marsabit and Isiolo.
70% of the livestock come from this area, and our livelihood depends on livestock. And we really lost much of our livestock because of these droughts. All ponds and dams and surface water supplies have dried up. We are now depending on borehole water in most our areas in northern part of Kenya. And these boreholes are working day and night. Since the people have lost their livelihood, their livestock, they are unable to fuel these generating equipments. Therefore, this fuel will go to all the boreholes and most of the boreholes in these 6 counties.
Through the structures we have on the ground, our chiefs and assistant chiefs will come in handy, because they are the ones on the ground and they will be able to work with the project committees, the borehole project committees on the ground, and ensure that this diesel is utilized to the last liter. Because in the past we have had instances where support from government or national and county government is given out. But then because of dishonesty and other integrity issues, this support at times does not make very serious impact. So, but then this time around, we want to work with those committees, and we want a report back, a report at least to tell us how this diesel has been utilized.
Let's now take our second break here on News Watch. We'll be back with the business news. Don't go away.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Our Christian life is not just about God always stepping in when you are in trouble. But sometimes you need to go through the valley of the shadow of death, and God will say, angels, stand away. He must go through that. She must go through that. Because out of this would come something greater and more beautiful.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, Standard Chartered Bank Kenya Limited has undertaken a 3-year partnership with the Kenya Forest Services and Nairobi Arboretum Conservancy Community Forest Association to support the restoration and conservation of one of the oldest parks in the city, the Nairobi Arboretum Park. Through this partnership, the bank has committed to promote urban green awareness and urban greening by supporting a 1 million seedlings in the Arboretum Nursery. The partnership is part of the bank's overall sustainability agenda, integrated across the business, operations, and communities, focusing on 3 priorities of sustainable finance, responsible company, and inclusive communities.
We want to bring Arboretum to 2050. We want to be sure that Arboretum can become the center of excellence for urban forest and urban green. And we would like Arboretum to become the center at the attention of domestic and foreign tourism. The impact of the nursery is very big. The nursery at Arboretum, given that is an arboretum and an urban forest, will be specializing in urban plants and bushes and flowers. And the idea is to be able to create awareness and education so that people that live in cities can understand how they can continue to use plants for their apartments or terrace, rooftop, and anything that can be done in urban areas.
And we are excited because it basically means when we get 1 million trees in the nursery today, in 3 years' time, those will be real trees. And so we are excited about this contribution to the global warming challenge. That's one. We're also going to participate in helping the park, creating the walking paths so that people can use them for running or for walking or for cycling, for leisure. I think that's very, very important. We are also going to help in naming of the trees so that people who are interested in understanding about the flora and fauna, they can come here to really understand what are the trees, what are the bushes, what are the animals that are in this park. And we're also going to create an app for those of us who would like to download the information and learn a lot more about Nairobi Arboretum. It's an exciting partnership, and it's our commitment as Standard Chartered matters sustainability. Sustainability is a key pillar of our strategy, and this kind of partnership helps us to further that more, because it's only through partnership that we can make a difference in the world and make a positive contribution to what's mass change because of the challenges that we face from a global perspective.
Stakeholders in the savings and credit cooperative organizations, SACCOs, have been urged to continue taking the COVID-19 vaccine to fully get back to normalcy. Addressing the media in Kakamega during the Kenya Union of Savings and Credit Cooperative Delegates meeting, Cusco's marketing manager Rose Ngaruiya said the SACCO sector was adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and will take the efforts of the members to get back to full operations. Ngaruiya said the pandemic brought unprecedented challenges and the largest test to the survival of SACCOs that saw closure of businesses and loss of employments.
Everybody has been affected in the pandemic because we deal with savings and loans. And our major clients, who are the SACCOs, were affected because the businesses were affected. Some of them were not able to repay the loans that they had taken, initially. So we were really affected. People were not saving because there is no income. Everybody was indoors. And it really affected us, but we can now see that since the vaccine actually came for COVID, things are really are looking up. They have actually improved. So we can see that now people are going back to normal. They've started doing their work, going back to their workplaces. They are saving, they are borrowing. And as we go along, I know we will recover 100%. Even now with the vaccine, we are still urging them to continue, getting vaccinated, because that is how we'll be able to do business. That is how I'll be able to go to a SACCO and get business and talk to them. Initially, we couldn't even go to any SACCO visit, especially the marketers. Like, I handle the marketing department. We're actually encouraging all of us in the SACCO sector to go for the vaccine. We started it and the myths have been there, but we have not seen that. So we encourage all of us, let's take the vaccine. It's going to really help us.
Now, to our last business story, listed non-bank financial services provider Sanlam Kenya has sealed a deal to be the underwriting services provider for Let's Go Kenya's insurance arm, covering all the products offered by the microfinancier. The digital insurance offering, dubbed Let's Go Insure, leverages on Sanlam Kenya's continued investment in digital acceleration through robust ICT platforms in the general and life insurance space. The investments have allowed Sanlam Kenya to tap into new markets, including the microfinance insurance products. While confirming the partnership, Sanlam Kenya Group CEO Dr. Nyamemba Tumbo said the firm will provide a tailor-made solution to Let's Go Kenya to enable the microfinance institution continue to roll out quality insurance covers services cost effectively. Let's now move to the sports arena, where Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed has disbanded Football Kenya Federation (FKF) and appointed a caretaker committee to run football. The 15-member committee, which has a 6-month mandate, will be chaired by retired Justice Aaron Ringera. Other members of the committee are General Retired Moses Oyugi, Fatma Adan, Philip Musiemi, Anthony Isai, Elisha Kiplagat, and Hassan Haji. Others are Frederick Reisa Mwangi Muthe, Nedi Atieno, Ali Amor, Titus Kasuve, Richard Omwela, Bobby Ogola, and Gigi Masiga. The CS, who had this morning received the audit report on FKF from Sports Registrar Rose Wasike, acted swiftly in naming the caretaker committee.
When someone is elected in office and we have not been found guilty of anything, some minister who clearly does not know what she's doing cannot show up and arbitrarily just decide to remove us from office. It is wrong and it is illegal. So, Kenya is playing Uganda today, and it is sad that a minister who doesn't care anything about football issues such a pronouncement on a day when Harambee Stars is playing Uganda. The lack of respect for sport is really amazing. But Kenya is playing Rwanda also on Monday. And so I want to say the following. Football will continue all over the country. Everyone will play football as they were playing before. The National Super League will be played this weekend as scheduled. All leagues, county leagues, everywhere, any referee who was traveling will proceed and do the same. Any official who was organizing any matches will continue to do the same. We shall remain in charge because it's an illegal act, and football will be played over and through this weekend. I want to be very clear about that point. There is a lot of football across this country, up and down. I don't think the minister understands that there's football in Karatina, and there's football in Kilifi, and there's football everywhere. Football is not just Harambee Stars. It is not. Football is a national sport being played everywhere. There are also coaching courses going on. The CAF B course, the first of its kind, going on. 50 participants are taking part. Will continue in these coming days. There are another 5 courses going on, and there are a few referee courses as well going on. They shall continue unabated and stopped.
Now to our last sports story of the day, Wayne Fernandez and Nisha Pandya will be looking to take measured risks in a bid to challenge their race adversaries at Sunday's KCB Guru Nanak Autocross 9, which heads to Twisty Corners racetrack in Kiambu. The Nairobi-based drivers have had a thorough going over of their machines well in time for the Sikh Union Nairobi organized round. Nisha, who is one of the few lady drivers currently racing in the Autocross series in an Attacker 1 Buji, anticipates stiff opposition from her two-wheel turbo opponents.
Well, I'm looking forward to doing a new track, which is going to be challenging as always with new tracks, and I expect to perform better than my last event. Probably I'll just say in Nanyuki I had a few mishaps. I had a misfire, a coil change, I had few clutch problems, but then I managed to finish the event, which was more important for me. And after that I did manage to get it serviced, and it's in tip-top condition now. My first career into the racing was in 2015 January, is when I started autocross racing. And I continuously did it for 3 years, and then I gave it a break for 2 years. And beginning of this year, I went for the first event at the waterfront, which was organized by Simba Union, and I got the psych to go back into racing again. So it was like a comeback, no practice involved, and every event I'm doing, it's like I'm practicing and also trying to get back to where I was before.
With 2 races remaining to the end of the season, there's not much strategy left. The points difference is maybe about 25 points between Gulraj and myself. So it's just to go out there, have fun, ride as fast as possible and not do something silly on the bike, keep it on 4 wheels and hope for a good finish. Racing with Gulraj has definitely improved my game. He's taught me how to ride faster, improve my timings. He's definitely put up a good challenge. Obviously the experience that Gulraj has compared to mine is way more than I would want it to be. Like I said, Gulraj has way more experience. His bike's a bit more powerful than mine. In terms of comparing to Hamilton's, yeah, as a defending champion, I would love to defend the title, but there's just so much I can do with budget restraints and concentrating on UV and Kiana. It doesn't leave much time for me to be able to get the practice that I require. Yeah, we'd definitely like to see a lot more competitors join the quad bike class. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there who have the quad bikes. I think it's more of financial strain on the competitor in terms of entry fee and the licensing fee. Maybe with KCB on board, we'd be able to lower those rates and get more people to join.
And that sports news brings us to the end of this broadcast. Thank you for keeping me company. My name is Grace Wangui, and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murithi. Enjoy the rest of your programming. See you again tomorrow.